Good morning, everyone. This is Jacob Palmer from Palmer Electrical. Thanks for tuning back into the Palmer Electrical YouTube channel. As you may have seen in the title, Fortune magazine wrote a article about me. I want to clarify, it's not exactly about me. It's about my channel sponsor Jobber's Blue Collar Report, which I'll talk about here in a minute. But they used my photo as the top image and they kind of made the headline about me. So the first thing I want to say is thank you to Fortune magazine for having me for an interview, and thank you to Jobber for giving me the opportunity. I just wanted to make this video to talk about it a little bit and share my point of view. Maybe this is your first time tuning in if you came here from that article. So I thought I'd share a little bit about myself and maybe talk about some of the things that were said in the article. So if you have no idea who I am, my name is Jacob Palmer. I'm a licensed electrician here in North Carolina. I am 23 years old and I run my own business. I work for myself. You can see behind me, this is my service truck and we are sitting in my warehouse space. This is my office warehouse space that I operate my business out of. Being a one-man company, it also just serves as my personal shop space, which is nice. I'm very grateful to have the opportunity to do this. But I want to make it clear just from the jump that, you know, this is not the end. I plan on building a successful career for myself, and this is just the start of it. I don't know where I'll be in 5-10 years, and to be honest, I don't know what I'll be doing. But I plan on making the very most of the opportunities that I've made for myself so far, and I intend to continue to grow and develop myself as well as the people that I hold close around me. I've been running my YouTube channel, Palmer Electrical, for, about a year now. I post point of view videos of me working as well as, other videos about tools and things. So if you're in the home services industry, you should hit subscribe. You'll probably like what you see. I'm very proud of the content that I create and I get a lot of positive feedback. So thank you to all of my viewers who come back and leave positive comments, and thank you also to the viewers who leave comments critiquing my work and giving me feedback that I can use to, positively improve my work in the future. It really does mean a lot when people leave comments that are constructive criticism. I read all my comments and I take it very seriously, so thank you to those people as well. But what I kind of wanted to do was read through some of the article that was written and talk about some of the things that were said. So here I am. That's me. That's right here in this shop. And that's this truck right here. That picture was taken right over there. I've left a link to the article right down here in the description. So you should go to fortune.com and read the article yourself first. I've linked it in the description if you're interested. But starting at the top, the headline reads, "Meet a 23-year-old electrician who was a good student but skipped college to join Gen Z's blue-collar revolution. He makes 6 figures." It's a pretty powerful title. It's a great author, Nick Lichtenberg. The first clarification I want to say is, yes, it is absolutely true that I make 6 figures, but I don't live a 6-figure lifestyle right now. That number is referring to my top-line revenue. I sent Fortune.com some screenshots of my profit and loss statements for this year and last year to prove these numbers, so they're not false claims at all. But that figure is top-line revenue. So my first year, last year, 2024, I started my business in February 2024, and kind of really picked up starting to actually do business in March. But pretty much in that 10-month span, I collected just under $90,000. It was my first year in business doing it solo. It's just me and my truck. And the first year of business is usually, pretty difficult for small businesses like mine. But I gotta say, all things considered, I consider it pretty successful. It's definitely not a bad number for one guy. I'm also able to recognize that compared to a lot of my peers, people in my age group, most of them went to college and got their 4-year degree. It definitely unlocks some good opportunities, but it also comes with some, pros and cons. You pay a lot of money for that. Can be okay if you are going for a nice, well-paying career, depending on your degree. There's a lot of factors at play. I did 1 year of college at UNCC, which Nick mentions in here. I was a good student, he says in an interview with Fortune. I was. In high school, I participated in all types of extracurriculars, student leadership. I did a lot of public speaking. I had all sorts of friends. But he said something changed during the pandemic. School looked drastically different doing online classes and Zoom calls. It felt very intangible. He says he figured out pretty quickly that online college didn't work for me. I hated it. That's all absolutely true. I graduated high school, class of 2020, and I went to UNCC University of North Carolina at Charlotte for 1 year immediately following it. That was always kind of my plan. Like he mentioned, I did do all sorts of academic extracurriculars. I was an avid DECA participant. Maybe you've heard of it. I always refer to it as kind of a competitive business club. I participated in the competitive role play where you would sit across the table from a judge and you would have a scenario usually centered around white-collar business office problems, and your job was to do some sort of problem solving or find some sort of creative solution and deliver a professional and concise presentation in just 10 minutes to the judge. They source judges from the real world. So the judge that you're sitting across the table from really is some business professional out there in the world who does a real job Monday through Friday. So that taught me a lot of the soft skills and a lot of my problem solving and communication skills that I kind of attribute a lot of my success in this industry to. When I went to college, like he said, that's what I tell people, it felt very intangible in 2020. It was COVID year. I think we all had some kind of disillusionment, but the online Zoom classes just didn't feel real. I didn't feel very much motivation to do my homework. Instead of a teacher, it was a box on the Zoom call. They didn't feel like real people. And I thrive working with real people. I like to solve problems for people and see the smile on their face when their lights finally turn on or when their hot tub gets powered on for the first time. That's just fuel for me. So that made this industry really a good fit for me in that aspect, working with people, working with real people. He talks about me in a few of the other paragraphs here up at the start of this article, talking about some of my revenue that I talked to you about. As of early 2025, he's booked out a month in advance, but the real kicker, he's 23, debt-free, and fully independent. I don't owe anybody anything, he says, contrasting his position with college-bound peers saddled by loans and job uncertainties. That is true. I have zero debt in my name. The only thing I've ever financed in my life was this phone, and I just paid the last payment on that last month. So as of now, I don't owe anybody a dime other than maybe what you might consider for the rest of the term of the lease of this warehouse space. Technically, that's a liability. And truthfully, I plan on keeping it that way, probably until I get a mortgage for a home, or until I can justify it very well to get us a business loan of some sort when I find an opportunity where that's going to make sense. But I'll tell you what, as the one-man, one-truck operation that I am currently, I make enough money as it sits, and I don't feel the need to take on any more overhead than I do. This warehouse space I consider a luxury for me. My type of business does not need a warehouse space like this, but it makes it a lot easier to run my business. I really like being able to park my truck indoors where it's safe. I've got a good security system here, so it gives me good peace of mind. But anyhow, all that aside, zero debt, and I want to keep it that way. But I want to point out the thesis of this article is not me. The article isn't about me. The article is about, right here, subsection, a broader trend, the rise of blue-collar ambition. So the Jobber Blue Collar Report is kind of a culmination of statistics surrounding the blue-collar industry. It's the Blue Collar Report. If we go to getjobber.com, go to resources, learn, and blue collar report here. It gives you a little bit more information. You can click download the full report here. It gives you a PDF. We can read the mission statement right here on page 2. The annual blue collar report exists to raise the status of the trades in the hearts and minds of the people who are unaware of their critical importance. And they are critically important. This report is an effort to advocate for blue collar small business owners. We highlight why these industries are critical to the proper functioning of society and why they offer one of the best ROI opportunities for young people today. And that couldn't be more true. And I'll just take you down here and kind of skim. We can look at some of these big statistics here. One of these first pie graphs here says 63% of Gen Z parents agree that AI is making it harder for young people to break into the workforce. Right here down below says 77% of Gen Z say it's important to choose a career that's difficult to automate. I'll tell you what, that's going to be an impressive robot that's going to be able to do the job that I do with my hands. If you can automate that, let me know, because that's going to be pretty difficult. Engineering. Scrolling down to some of these other big statistics, only 16% of Gen Z parents now believe a college degree guarantees long-term job security. Now that's a question of belief, whether or not a college degree does or does not guarantee job security is probably hard to determine, especially with how much things are changing these days. What's going to be necessary in the next 5, 10, 20, 30 years, it's kind of hard to call that shot right now. But I will tell you what, these data centers that run the AI servers are going to need a lot of power, and they need that to be installed and maintained by somebody. Humans are still going to need to shower and use the bathroom, so plumbers are going to be busy. Humans are still going to want to stay cool in their interior spaces, so HVAC techs are going to be around. People are still going to want to renovate and change their kitchens, which at the time of recording, you can't just have a robot do. The robots can do backflips now though, that's pretty cool. So I'm going to link to Jobber's website. It's going to be the top link in the description if you want to read this blue collar report a little bit more. Super good information. And if you're a young person being pressured to go to college by your parents, you know, send this to them. Might could help change their mind. And of course, if you are a business owner or are looking to start one, which hopefully you are after hearing all this, you should check out Jobber for your CRM needs. Jobber offers an easy-to-use solution to manage your customers, scheduling, invoicing, payments, everything you need to run a service business like mine, Jobber can do for you. And it has some cool tricks up its sleeve, like their AI receptionist. It'll answer your phone for you anytime. If you're busy and your hands are full, if you're on your lunch break, or if you just don't want to, AI receptionist has your back, as well as all of the rest of Jobber's high quality professional features. If you're interested in giving Jobber a try, click the top link in the description. It gives you 14 days for free, as well as a special discount. I've loved using Jobber for my business. Give it a click, give it a try. I bet you're gonna like it. Thank you, Jobber, for sponsoring this video. It's not just me that's doing this type of stuff. There are young people all across America who have decided to say, screw college, it's not for me. I'm gonna go make money working in a trade. And I think that it is an excellent option. And it is not the option that is preordained for the stupid kids. That's not how it works. You cannot be successful in this industry and be dumb. And a message to high school teachers and counselors, the high school counselors at my high school never told us that college was the only option to be successful. That never came out of their mouths. But I'll tell you what there was kind of unspoken is that college is a great route for the smart kids. Or you could go to a trade or vocational school for the dumb kids. That's what it felt like. That's not the case. Like was mentioned in the article here, I was a good student. I was one of the students that was preordained to go to college and do a 4-year degree. And that's absolutely what I was convinced I was going to do when I graduated high school. But what I found was a lot of the academic skills and a lot of the soft skills that I learned in school, in classes, and also in the student leadership and extracurriculars that I participated in, is so many of those skills are directly transferable to the trades. I am an electrician. I am responsible for correctly performing electrical work to code in a professional manner, but I'm also responsible for being a salesman. I have to go and convince the customer that I'm the right guy for the job and that the price that I'm gonna charge is worth every penny. It's my job also now as a business owner to make sure that my taxes are in order. I have to pay sales tax now, which sucks, but I'm responsible for making sure that's done right. I'm responsible for making sure that my jobs are priced right, that I'm making more than I'm spending. And I'm also responsible for making sure that my truck has insurance and is repaired and gassed up correctly. I'm responsible for making sure that the rent in this warehouse is paid for every month. So going back to like what I said, you can't be stupid and expect to be successful in the trade. And another thing I want to say is, to everybody listening, you're not stupid. You might feel stupid sometimes. I feel stupid sometimes. I learned pretty quickly whenever I started my apprenticeship that like adults don't know what they're doing either. You can't, we're all constantly learning. I've said that on this channel before. We are all constantly learning. It doesn't matter what grades you got in high school. It doesn't matter how you feel about yourself. You are capable of being successful. It doesn't matter who you are, where you are, what you're doing. You absolutely are capable of being successful. Something else I meant to mention in this is that it also comes down to your parents. So parents listening, it's extremely important to be supportive of your kids. Don't be the parent that lets your kid just go and not try hard in school. I'm extremely lucky to have had parents that like made sure I was doing my homework in high school, you know, and I was extremely lucky to have parents that pushed me to do the best I can. This isn't talking about money. I did not come from a rich and wealthy family. I came from a perfectly middle-class family with loving parents who made sure I was going above the bare minimum and called me on my bullshit whenever I didn't want to do my homework or when my grades were dipping a little bit too low. They made sure that I understood that hard work is how you actually make it. And they demonstrated that. My mother did not get a college degree, but now she works a very high-level job getting paid a very good amount of money working for a big name brand company. She started from nothing. She dropped out of community college and she worked her way up and made herself a career in the white-collar industry, and that was demonstrated to me. And I saw how hard she worked, and I saw how hard my dad worked, and I saw how hard both of them worked to make sure that I was going to make it. So I'm very grateful to them, and to the parents out there, I urge and pressure you to do the same. It's extremely important, the household that you grow up in. Thank you, Mom and Dad, for giving me the opportunities that you gave me to learn and to have experiences and to be social with people. The environment that you're raised in has such a profound impact on the way that you will turn out as an adult. So yeah, thanks Mom and Dad. Back to the video. Later on in the article here, I'll read an excerpt. Jobber cites projections for skilled trades demand from the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics that supports Loria's argument, another person interviewed for the article. From 2023 to 2033, it sees demand for the trades rising much faster than the 4% average for all occupations, with electricians, plumbers, and HVAC technicians at 11%, 6%, and 9% respectively, representing some of the most in-demand and hardest to fill roles. The cost of college, meanwhile, has tripled over the last 30 years, with College Board data showing that tuition and fees cost $11,610 per year on average at public in-state schools and over $30,000 for undergraduates from out of state. The cost of trade schools vary but rarely surpass $15,000 for an entire program. You don't need to go to a trade school. There's a lot to learn in a classroom setting. Just to be clear, I'm not putting it down, but in my opinion and also in my experience, there is no substitution for in-person, hands-on work experience. Sitting in a classroom, looking at a whiteboard, watching PowerPoint presentations and listening to a guy talk about it is very abstract and isn't going to make a whole lot of sense until you're actually there with your hands, with tools in your hands, doing the work. But if trade school feels right to you, you should explore that as an option. Like I said already, there's a lot to be learned in a classroom setting, not putting it down. And while we're at it, big shout out to EwokDoesHVAC. He's also mentioned in the article here. He runs a pretty cool YouTube channel. I'll also link that in the description. He is a 19-year-old HVAC tech. He works for a company, but still very impressive to run a van at 19 years old as an HVAC tech. He makes videos somewhat similar to mine. He wears a GoPro and does his work and talks about his day-to-day. You should go check him out if you like my content. Super cool guy. In his section of the article, he talks about how Ewok is drawing some revenue from his YouTube channel as well. He's making some money doing it, which is great. Diversifying your revenue streams is super valuable in business, and he's doing that at 19, so very impressive. Props to you, Ewok, if you're watching. Getting down to the bottom here, he talks a little bit about my YouTube channel as well, about how it's generating revenue. It's part of my professional growth that I'm going through right now, and also part of Palmer Electrical, the business. And then at the very end of the article here, he points out some of the trade-offs that come along with a role like mine, which are very present and are, usually front of mind for me. He points out that I only took probably like 1 week of true vacation over the past year, and that's true. Working for yourself, it can be really challenging to actually, take time off. Because think of it this way, if I decide to take a week off of work and go to the beach or go do whatever, that is 1 week of no income and also 1 week of a lot of spending, paying for a hotel or paying for meals and travel and expenses and things like that. So really 1 week of vacation turns into 3 weeks behind. So that does make it difficult, but I'm able to supplement that. Going to trade conferences is something that I do. I am a member of the North Carolina Electrical Inspectors Association. I also make a point to go and attend other trade conferences like the North Carolina Electrical Institute, which are a couple times a year here where I can stop working, maybe go to a different town. It's still electrical related, but it is a nice break and I enjoy going to those things. Usually if I take a break or go out of town, I just make the most of my weekend and take a night trip somewhere. Or if maybe it's like a family event where I go and it's something relating to my family. And he ends the article here with a pretty good ending, I think. He says that's the downside of being your own boss, he adds. If I stop, the checks go to zero. And that's how the article ends. And I think that's a good way to end it because that is true. If I stop working, I make no money. It's entirely up to me, which I love in one hand and is also kind of stressful in the other hand. One thing that gives me comfort is that I'm still relatively young. I don't have all that far to fall. I don't have a family and kids that I have to support compared to maybe a 35 or 40-year-old who just got their license and wants to start a business. They probably have higher living expenses with kids and maybe they own a home already that they have to pay for. It's a much greater risk for somebody later in their life to quit their day job and start a business. A business like this is a moneymaker. If you play your cards right, it's not as difficult to turn it profitable and start making money for yourself, but it is a big risk. So I also consider myself very lucky and I'm very grateful to have been able to do this at my age where I don't assume that much risk personally. Like I said a second ago, I don't have far to fall. Having an electrical license does create some great job security. If I absolutely had to pull the ripcord, if everything goes to here and this no longer works for some crazy reason, I have to go get a job, I could probably have a job doing what I'm doing already by the end of the week that will pay me full time like an adult. I'm not that worried about myself. Most of my stressors lie in like the really small stuff. I get really stressed out if I can't get a certain type of material for one of my customers and then they're going to be upset because I have to delay it. Or if something goes wrong or something gets messed up with the permitting process, then that's usually where my biggest stressors lie, is in the small stuff at a job-to-job basis. I take a lot of pride in my work and I make sure my customers always get a top-notch experience, and if that goes wrong, then that's where my stress kicks in. Overall, I have really good faith in myself that long-term I will deliver on the promises that I made to myself. I truly believe that I will find success in my future. You know, success can be defined in a few different ways, but Van Neistat made a video that's entitled, "What It's Like to Make It." And in his video, he says this.
And to me, this is what making it means. Making it is two things. Number one, earning a living from your talent. And number two, the living you earn from your talent allows you to live like a successful dentist. Successful dentists live in nice houses. Successful dentists live in nice neighborhoods. Successful dentists send their kids to good schools. Successful dentists drive nice cars. Successful dentists pay their bills on time. Successful dentists have $10,000 in pocket money at all times. That's what making it means to me. Making a living from my talent and earning a living that allows me to live like a successful dentist. A successful dentist, in other words, has made it.
That's pretty close to what my thoughts are on success. Successful dentists drive nice cars. They're able to take their family on vacation. They live relatively stress-free. You know, they're able to save money and pass something on to their kids one day. And I intend on getting there. I believe I will. And to all the 17-year-olds and to all the 18-year-olds who are seniors in high school and they don't know what they want to do, going to college is just kicking that can down the road of deciding what you want to do. No 17 or 18-year-old has ever known what they want to do with their career. A man in my industry who I respect and look up to once told me, "Follow your gut, not your heart." That resonated with me. It made sense. Your heart may say, "Oh yeah, I'm going to go to college because I was a good student in high school and I got good grades and now I get to go to college because college experience and I get to go party, have fun with my friends." Let me tell you this, if there's something inside you in your gut and you know instinctively and viscerally that you don't think it's right for you, or that you don't think it's conducive to what you think about yourself, then don't waste the money and don't waste the time. Go and learn a skill and learn about the workforce and go and learn about working with people, with real people in the real world. And for God's sake, stop using AI for everything.